The Idaho suspect allegedly stalked another female student months before the massacre. I'm going to do something I usually don't do and talk about speculation and rumor. Dateline reported a female college student said that her house was ransacked. She said that nothing was stolen. If I were betting, I would say something was stolen that she wouldn't notice, but was personal, like underwear. The Idaho suspect used to work in security. She asked him to install security cameras in her home. Later, someone reported that he could view her inside her home, which is probably how he set it up. The media has already drawn several parallels between BTK and this guy. BTK also installed security systems. BTK stands for Bind, Torture, Kill. You'll find that in real detective work, there are few coincidences, and certainly not more than one. While the suspect was getting his master's degree, he studied under Dr. Kathleen Ramsland. She's interviewed BTK at length, and a year ago, I cited her on my podcast when I was talking about BTK. That's over on the tube if you want to listen to it. With very dark sexual fantasies, BTK would steal women's underwear. He also collected their IDs as trophies. When they did one of the search warrants on the Idaho suspect, several IDs were listed. Just before the murders and close to the house, a female student called the police to report that her car had been ransacked, and her underwear was stuffed in her cup holder. As a street cop, you'd probably write this up as a homeless person or a prank. You might not even do a report, but it could be a major signal. In one of his interviews, BTK said that he would do something called cubing. You and I would probably call that compartmentalizing. For example, as a cop, I could see horrible things, but I can compartmentalize that and come home and be a good dad. I think we're going to find out the Idaho suspect can do the same thing, but to an extreme. When they put out the description of the vehicle, his own sister said he could be a suspect. Allegedly. Usually it takes a lot to convince a family member that somebody's capable of such a heinous crime. So that tells me there's probably something in their past. And several of his siblings work in mental health. I've said before, I think there's a mountain of evidence they haven't released yet. And it's going to be stuff that he missed, because he's never been a cop. He's just studied criminology. Like when he cleaned out his car, he cleaned what he could see. But do you think he cleaned the seatbelt after he took it off and it rolled back up into the frame? When BTK was arrested and they did a search warrant, they had a treasure trove of all of his collections. Even journaling for thoughts on the killings. And he used to draw bound women. That's another thing they have in common, the disdain for women. I'm guessing they found a massive amount of digital evidence. BTK confessed and pled guilty. We'll see what happens with this one.